Good evening. How's everybody doing, man? Been quite a day, huh? Hey there, Boogie. How you doing? Yeah, I was live earlier. Had some guests up. Leah was on, and Beyond the Pale was on. She was up here. Anyway, I'm gonna go over some court stuff or what happened, and this is right from an Idaho TV station, so it's pretty good. Um, if I can find it all and do it correctly. I do believe it's this one. And this is it. We'll just start it out and then I'll stop and we can chat about it. How's that?
Let's get on the record, please.
Okay, Carl. Hey, Scarlett. Good to see you back.
Technology. Sports. No. It's happening. Just put it flat.
I don't dive.
No? Taylor, what's your preference?
Your Honor, my preference is that it not focus in on the table where my counsel is holding.
Okay, so angle it this way. They went. Good. Good. All right.
There's Leah. Hi, Leah.
Okay, we are on the record. This is State of Idaho versus Brian C. Koberger, CR 29222805. Mr. Koberger is here in the courtroom. He is represented by the team of Ann Taylor, Jay Logston, and
Yeah, this is from.
Lisa Massett.
This is a TV station
have
right out of Idaho.
Thompson, Will Thompson, Ashley Jennings, Ingrid Beatty, and Jeff
Hey, Golf.
Nye.
I'd like to get you up
We
here.
have several motions set for today. The state's motions are motions
See if I can do this right here.
protective order that is related to the investigative genetic genealogy DNA issue, which is related to the Mr. Koberger's motion to compel, seeking those genetic genealogy information and discovery. We also have a motion to reconsider the order staying time for speedy trial. There's also in opposing that, a second motion to stay proceedings regarding alleged irregularities of the grand jury. And from the state, we also have a motion to compel notice of defense of alibi and a motion for scheduling order. So that's what we're going to hear today. I think we're probably going to use most of the morning with the motion for protective order and third motion to compel. We expect some testimony from Mr. Koberger's team.
Yeah, I sent it up
And
for
that's where we're going to start.
Golf.
So
Whoever wants
anything
to get up there.
preliminary, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Taylor?
Nothing preliminary, Your Honor, we're ready to hold it.
Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll move to our argument from both sides. I thought about who should go first in terms of the arguments. Mr. Thompson.
No, that's good.
All right,
Yeah,
Boogie.
I mean, who would like?
Yeah, golf, you can jump up.
Yeah.
I left the link there.
Order, would you prefer to do that after you hear the argument from the defense?
It may make more sense, Judge, to do that. I think the record will be better for your honor.
Okay, that's why I suggested that. Thank you. All right, so we'll hear the testimony, then argument from Mr. Koberger's team, and then to the state.
Your Honor, just for the record, Mr. Nye and Ms. Beatty are the ones handling this particular motion. Ms. Beatty has the witnesses, the proposed witnesses, Mr. Koberger and Mr. Nye, of course, briefed the matter and will be prepared for the argument.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, call your first witness.
Your Honor, along those lines, I should inform the court that I'll be handling all of the witnesses that we called today. Ms. Massa will be presenting our argument in support of our motion and probably the rebuttal to the protection order request.
Okay, you all may need to remind me as we go along here.
Downstairs.
Okay, Ms. Beatty.
For other housekeeping matter, I have some questions that I want to
Okay.
with regard to these witnesses. With regard to Ms. Barlow and Mr. Mercer, the state made its concerns on these two witnesses clear in its reply filed on July 14th. But the state will be calling two attorneys to testify about legal conclusions during a discovery dispute is simply not proper. Both Mr. Mercer and Ms. Barlow consult with defense attorneys on discovery issues, and calling them to testify about legal conclusions and a discovery dispute is tantamount to the state calling prosecutors as staff witnesses to testify about in this particular area. That's a path I don't think we want to go down, and it's not relevant to the court, and it doesn't fall within 702, which requires specialized knowledge for the fact finder, which is the court in this case. Additionally,
Right.
Ms. Taylor is an attorney practicing in Idaho who's well regarded and seen as one of the preeminent defense attorneys in the state. There's nothing that these witnesses can tell the court that Ms. Taylor can't simply consult with them about and then argue with the court. So our position is that these witnesses' testimony is duplicative of whatever Ms. Taylor can argue, and it does not fall within the scope of 702. With regard to Gabriela Vargas, the state is objecting to her testimony as well, Your Honor. We received her declaration just yesterday. There was no CV attached. Ms. Vargas is being submitted to this court as an expert witness, and the state has no way of vetting her expertise without a CV. There is no way for us to verify anything in her affidavit. It puts the state in essentially an ambush position where we're being presented with this witness with no way to verify her qualifications. We would ask that this witness be excluded from testifying today as well. And then finally, the state would just make a blanket motion and limiting that these witnesses not be allowed to testify about legal decisions or legal arguments. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the first two witnesses that the state objects to, Victor Barlow and Steve Mercer, are two people who have been known to the state for quite some time. What they say to you in court now is their objection was made known on July 14th in their reply to, in support of their protective order after we did a response to their motion for protective order and an objection to it, that it's not an objection to them testifying. They spent a lot of pages telling the court why the court should not take any attention to declarations that were attached to our third motion to compel. So that's not an objection to them testifying at all. These witnesses have been made known for a long time. They were certainly known last week when we had a planning session and we talked about the number of witnesses that were going to testify. No objection was stated at that time either. Waiting until today, when those witnesses have both traveled and been here and been prepared to testify, that's an ambush, Your Honor. They're here, they're prepared. Their testimonies are relevant to the issues that the court has to decide. They're going to talk to the court about two different things as it relates to our discovery rule and the information that Mr. Koberger is seeking so that we can do our job. Your Honor, you're going to hear from a witness, Leah Larkin, Dr. Leah Larkin as well, and she's going to talk about the process of genetic genealogy. Both Ms. Barlow and Mr. Mercer are attorneys. Both are well-versed in criminal defense. Both are well-versed in DNA and genetic genealogy. The state's position has been that this is not discoverable because we're not going to present it at trial. That's not the end of the story. That's not the discovery rule. And those are the things that Vicka Barlow and Steve Mercer will talk about. Vicka Barlow has a lot of training in DNA. She does a lot of teaching on DNA as well. It's not a simple little process, and they'll describe what kinds of materials we should have in discovery. Mr. Mercer will talk about what we will do with those kinds of materials and why they're necessary to Mr. Koberger's presentation, preparation of his case. They'll talk about our constitutional duties to Mr. Koberger. Those are not conclusions. Those are things that have to do with this material, these things that we are seeking the court to order the state to hand over to us, and why they're necessary to the preparation of the case. So for those two witnesses, I can make the argument, but I don't have the expertise in the DNA or the genetic genealogy that the court needs to hear to understand that they fall squarely within our discovery rule. Your Honor, I'll speak about Gabriella Vargas now. Her declaration was disclosed yesterday. Much of that declaration has CD-related items in it. It talks about her background, her training, right in the body of that declaration. That declaration is not as soon as we would have wanted that. Gabriella Vargas met with me a few weeks ago, and for personal reasons that I'm not going to put on the record, she was unable to complete that until a later period of time. So that one is, like, I know that one came in yesterday. She's here, she's prepared to be cross-examined by the state, and certainly there are many other remedies besides just excluding her. The court could allow us to present her testimony, and the state doesn't feel that they've had opportunity to cross-examine her or present a witness in response to her. The court could leave this open and take that up. The court could even order Ms. Vargas to appear by Zoom for further cross-examination. But we should at least let her testimony come out here in court today. She's here.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Taylor has just conceded that these attorney witnesses are going to be testifying about the scope of discovery rules. I don't think that that's appropriate. I think that Ms. Taylor can make those arguments to the court that having fact witnesses interpret the law is not appropriate in a discovery dispute. As to Ms. Vargas, our understanding was that there were 3 witnesses testifying today, and that was our understanding up until yesterday when we got into town. So we would ask that Ms. Vargas be excluded. And I would note that we made our objections to keep witnesses clear when we asked the court to disregard the contents of their declarations in this tonight's reply brief. Certainly, we're going to put that same objection on the record. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Right,
Well,
I was making him laugh backstage.
About these opinions about sort of constitutional law or the procedures of discovery. I think that's fully capable for all of the counsel.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Go.
Those are going to be my decisions. However, in reading through, and I have read through all of the declarations, pointing on specifically genetic genealogy and their experience with that within the law, I think does have some relevance, potentially. And I think that it would go to the weight of the consideration. The other thing that I am concerned about is this is a death penalty case. And if I deny particular presentations that one or the other side believe have some bearing on the case, it's probably more wise for me to allow it, even if it might be on the edge, and not allow that method. Especially,
what I get from this judge, and I'll see if you agree with this, Golf. I think he's kind of a no nonsense kind of judge. I don't think either side's going to be able to pull a lot of stuff on this guy. I watched some of it earlier, and then now here we go. Golf is in here. There we go. Hi, Golf.
Hi.
How you doing
Sorry,
tonight?
I don't have
Oh,
my headset on yet because I just use my computer. How are you? How's
oh,
everybody?
okay. I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Hey,
good. I'm
girl,
good.
doing
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my afternoon watching bits and pieces out of this.
Yeah, so did I. I was live earlier. We had Leah up here. She was up here, and then
Oh, Leah, come on up here.
and Nellie was up here from Beyond the Pale.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was actually hoping she'd be here tonight too. Um, what do you think about from what I get from this judge? Uh, I think he's kind of a no nonsense kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't think either side's going to be able to get away with a lot of stuff. Do you get that same impression?
No, he seems very in the middle,
He,
which is exactly where he should be, as a judge.
right,
And
common sense guy.
yeah, and when somebody mentions anything about constitutional rights, he smiles and raises an eyebrow because he's well aware, you know. So I
Right.
always enjoy that in him. But yeah, he's a very straight in the middle kind of person, I think,
I
personally.
think so too. Yeah, I think it will be a fair trial. I do with this judge, and I don't think he's going to sway one way or the other much.
I mean, and my only question is, but he can't take this personally. Like, what does he personally think about all this lacking evidence and all that? And he's
I
trying to
know.
juggle it, right?
Yeah, I don't. I can't believe. I would definitely have some questions. Like when they said they didn't have stuff. If I was a judge, I guess I'd want to know why that
Mm,
stuff wasn't saved.
yeah.
And he didn't ask that. I was
I
kind of
mean,
surprised at.
he can't. I don't think he's there to ask questions. That's the thing. He's there to mediate, basically. Is
Well,
what
that's
he decided.
true.
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
So basically, what I think this is going to come down to in the end, of course, he's not making any decisions today, obviously.
Right.
What it's going to come down to is he has to make that decision if they cannot produce evidence or, how
Right.
they got the DNA, he's going to have to throw it out because if he doesn't, down the line, it's going to cause so many issues. And all he's
Appeals.
talking about,
Yep.
he's talking about they're gonna come and what is it called? Shit. If they lose, they appeal. Yes.
Appeal. Yeah. The appeal
Yeah.
process. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's
Yeah.
very concerned about this going the right way to begin with. And
Right.
I really don't, if they don't produce that material, he's not going to allow it in. I have a feeling that he's not going to jeopardize that.
And how can they not? I mean, how could they not have it?
They have it. But
Well,
what they did, I think that Vargas just
the,
told us all about it. Some FBI agents signed in to that genealogical site that she mentioned, which I forgot now, and used they were Brian Koberger, right?
right.
That's exactly what happened. That's what she said people
Exactly.
do. That's what
Right.
law enforcement
But there was a
does.
part in the court today that the state stood up and said we do not have this information that they were looking for, and
Well, they're not
it's like
technically lying. They don't. The FBI does, but they know about it. So they're not really and I think the judge understands that they're not technically lying because I don't think the FBI gave them like, okay, guys, here's how we did it. I mean, maybe they did, but I
right.
don't think they're that
Mm,
stupid. So they're
Right. No, they want
technically
to keep
not
that on
really lying. They don't have the chain of custody material that they're seeking.
right.
So that's how they're going to get away with
The,
it.
F,
But since
the
they don't, they
FBI
can,
wants to keep it on the QT is what
yeah, of
about the
course.
process,
They
right?
don't want to be involved in this. You know,
No, right.
that's what it comes down to. So
High elbow.
it's gonna end up. I think it's gonna be thrown out. To be honest,
That's what I think too.
yeah,
High War Eagle. Yep. That's what I think too.
yeah.
We'll let this keep playing here. You said there's something coming up here.
I think so. It's sort of in the beginning before any witnesses come up.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Important in a case like this to have a record for appeal. So I'm not saying one way or the other how this might fall, but I think it's important to preserve the record. Now, however, I don't want to get into arguments about the law or what that exactly means. I think I have a pretty good understanding of what the issues are about the genetic genealogy issues and why the state wants to get more information about that. I also understand why the state believes that it has nothing to do with the case. And that's what I'm going to hear from today. And I think it's important to have both sides weigh in on this. Now, with regard to Ms. Vargas, she is here. I don't know where she came from, how far away. I'm inclined to just allow the state to come back and address that. Also, file another brief objection. I may decide to reject that. So that's where I land on all of that. So I'm going to deny the objections. Remove them, and we shall proceed with hearing testimony. Now, if you get too far into this is what the law requires, okay?
Thank you.
So call your first witness.
Your Honor, if I may, one point of clarification, it occurred to me while listening to the court talking about genetic genealogy and really that being a focus. There are a couple of other areas in the motion to compel that have to do with the other DNA that the state doesn't have complete discoveries to us that are included in that first motion to compel that up for today. The big focus is then the genetic genealogy piece, but I wanted to make sure that that was still in the scope.
Well,
Yeah,
my
it's not
understanding
there
was
as well.
that the state didn't provide all the information about the laboratory, we'll say the laboratory DNA. That
Tommy,
was,
stop it.
that
Stop.
analysis
Hi, Dan.
was not
Yep.
related
All right.
to genealogy.
All
What
right.
we got?
So basically, she's talking about the other male
Golf?
DNAs. I'm here. Oh shit! Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Sorry. Okay, so she's talking about the other male DNA, which
Correct.
is pretty telling. It sounds to me like they do not have the identification for those,
Right. Right.
right?
That's
Doesn't it
pretty
sound like
big.
that to you?
That sounds
Yeah.
like that to me, yes.
Yeah.
We could back it up and listen to it one more time.
Exactly. Listen to it one more time.
Is to allow the state to come back and address that. Also, file another brief objection. I may decide to reject that. So that's where I landed on all of that. So I'm going to deny the objections. Remove them, and we shall proceed with hearing testimony. Now, Now, if you get too far into, this is what the law requires. Okay,
Thank you.
so call your first witness.
Your Honor, if I may, one
Did we
point
go?
of clarification.
Did I go
No, you're good. You're good.
back far enough?
Coming up. No, it's coming up.
We're talking about genealogy and really that being a focus. There are a couple of other areas contained in the motion to compel that have to do with the other DNA that the state doesn't have complete discoveries to us that are included in that third motion to compel that are up for today.
There
The
you
big
go.
focus is then the genetic genealogy piece, but I
There
wanted
you go.
to make sure that that was still in the scope.
All right.
Well, my
just
understanding
said
was that the state did provide all the information about the laboratory, we'll say the laboratory DNA that was, that analysis was not related to the genealogy DNA. Am I mistaken about that? What are you saying that they didn't provide to you?
Your Honor, in our third motion to compel, we had a section called standard lab discovery, and that has to do with other DNA profiles found at the scene. They have provided full discovery for the sheet, the DNA found on the knife sheet, but not the other 3 unidentified male DNA samples, 2
Oh.
from in the house, 1 from outside of it.
Okay,
Alright,
one from the house,
so
one.
I'm
What did
understanding
it say there? What did it say
Rewind a
there?
little bit. Rewind a little bit. 2 from
Right.
inside the house and 1 outside.
Understanding your question there, or your assertion that we're talking about 3 potential analysis of DNA that was not provided to you, but that has no connection to Mr. Kobe.
Correct.
Any response?
Your Honor, we didn't realize this was going to be an issue today. We had given the defense everything that we received from the lab. They've asked for DNA workups on other people. To the extent that they don't have them, they weren't done. We can't do something that doesn't exist. We provided everything. There's 1 outstanding lab report that relates to the forensic examination by the lab personnel of the crime scene itself. He received the dead. That's the only outstanding lab report. Everything else, along with all the notes, is what there is and it's been provided to the defense. And if they're hoping that there's something else there, it's not there.
What the hell?
Can you stop that? Can you believe that bullshit? They told
Am I
me there's-
getting that right?
like they told me
That
there's
is
something there,
pure
but it's
bullshit.
not there. What the hell is that kind of a response? That's some bullshit. It's because they
Right.
never looked into it. And so they ignored it. And I mean, it's just as much
Right.
there as Kohlberger's is. I mean, that's just a non-answer if you ask me.
It's a very
It's
non-answer.
mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
It's like they're trying to skip over it like it doesn't exist.
Exactly. We're not done yet. There is more to come. I mean, Anne is going to bring
Right.
up another point, and I think
Right.
a lot of people miss that. So keep going.
Right. Yep.
Well, Your Honor, as part of our third motion to come, it's still something that we don't have. We also don't have the unexpected corrective actions, unexpected results from the Idaho State Police Forensics Lab for the 6 months before and the 6 months after November 13th, 2022. We did get some, but it's a narrow scope, and we asked for the full year, 6 months before and 6 months after. That's also in our motion.
I understand your responsibility is to turn over every rock. But you can't get things that don't exist as well. So I mean, there has to be some level of trust in discovery. You're all sworn attorneys. And so Mr. Thompson is saying that there's one more.
I don't trust that
lab,
prosecution at all.
report that is coming your way
Mm-mm.
today. I heard you say.
There's more.
Maybe not today. We were waiting to receive it so that we can process it for discovery. It's supposed to be in any time.
Okay, I misunderstood that. So it's coming soon. It has to come soon because we're 6 weeks away from the trial.
No shit.
We're going to be very rushed about a lot of.
That's just crazy. I don't know.
No. I mean, and she's not done. Like, this is insane. He's lying. Like, you can tell because of his non-answers.
Right.
He just doesn't know how to formulate. Like, he's not really good with words like Ann Taylor is. Just she's like a word master, right? So,
Right.
and poor
Right.
Thompson, I feel sort of bad for him because he don't know what to say. I mean, they screwed him over essentially, if you look at it that way, as well. So. And I don't know, but keep going. More is coming.
Right. Yep.
Things that I'm going to talk about that a little more. So what about the other claim, Mr. Thompson? Do you want to address that? The other mistakes?
Corrective action log, unexpected result log. We have that in part, but not the whole thing.
I don't know what exists that we haven't received. We provided all the requests to the lab, and they've assured us that they have provided us with everything they have within the scope of those requests. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, we can make a supplemental inquiry to clarify that after we finish in court today. But I'm kind of sitting here saying, Judge, give me everything we know to exist.
Well, that would be wise to.
I don't know if that's a true statement.
We will.
Because we don't want this
It's
to come
not.
back on the eve of trial,
Yes, sir.
or 4 years from now, have an appeal.
Yes, sir.
So we want to make sure that we have combed through all the information that has any bearing or argument of bearing on this case. That's all.
Ms. James making a note right now. We'll send the inquiry out later today.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, just for point of clarification, we also ask for all emails, text messages, along with electronic messages or other messages. Some have been provided, but we don't have assurance that that's all. And
Did
so
you hear that?
For the same reason, we want to
Tommy?
make sure that we.
No, I
have
didn't. No, I didn't. Hold on.
Okay, you missed it. You missed it.
We have told,
She's saying
we have given
they
them
haven't
everything
gotten all the
we
text
know to-
I
messages.
back it up a little bit here.
Yeah. They haven't gotten all the text
What?
messages.
What?
Oh, you didn't hear that?
Oh,
She said we got
bullshit.
some of it, but
No,
we
I
didn't get
didn't. I
all
was
of
busy
it.
on the. What?
You have to listen.
That's got to be a lie.
I know it's like the audio is so super bad, but like when I
know.
heard that, I
Right.
almost fell off my chair. I was like, "What? They haven't gotten all the text messages that was supposed to set the timeline for the murder and all that? Remember? My God,
Right. Right.
that's some
I'm back. I
bullshit."
got it here. I was busy down here. I got like different screens going up, and it's kind of weird because you got to go back to your own to do any texting or to see what's going on. You have to have so many screens up.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and it's just kind of weird. I'm not used to it yet. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put it again.
There's a lot of electronic messages or other messages. Some have been provided, but we don't have assurance that that's all. And so for the same reason, we want to make sure that we have the complete file.
Okay, Mr. Thompson.
We have told them, we have given them everything that we know to exist.
Oh,
That's the lab provided to them. At this point, all I'm hearing is speculation. They think maybe, or they wish something else was there. But as far as we know, it doesn't exist. I don't know what else we can say. You can't respond to something that isn't real. Sorry, Judge.
he's saying it isn't real.
We're just sorting it out.
Yes, sir.
Making sure that everything that there is shared.
We'll
Except for the ones that you don't want.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And that's one of the reasons.
We'll make an additional inquiry to the lab to see if there's anything else in the form of emails that they haven't already provided to us.
I would add, I mean, there are times, okay, in the world of the law, that sometimes people forget to do things, or sometimes things fall through the cracks, and so it's always healthy to make sure that it's done thoroughly.
It sounds like the
Absolutely.
judge doesn't believe me either.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah,
Did
so
you hear
stop
that?
there for a moment. Yeah.
You're
Stop
right.
there for a moment
It's,
because
Okay,
yeah,
this
judge
this is
doesn't. The judge isn't buying it.
no, this is ludicrous. This is absolutely ludicrous. Like she's
Right.
saying, like what they're basing the whole PCA on, the timeline on, it's not available to them. They got parts of it, but how
Right.
the way that the way that the prosecution is treating this is like they're putting a gag order over everything, and that includes the discovery material, which they're supposed. It's like
Right.
it's like they're following a pattern here. They're treating it like they're talking to the press, you know. It's beyond me. It's
Right.
absolutely beyond me. So, I mean, if they keep going this way, we know where that's going to end up,
Yeah.
you
What are they
know. That
thinking? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just mind-boggling to me. And Anne is very calm, as you see,
Wow.
and Thompson there, he's like
Right.
jumping up, and he's very
Yeah. He's
nervous. Like,
flustered.
oh God, he's red like a tomato. So it's
Right.
funny.
And I can tell the judge isn't buying it at all. Sometimes
Hmm.
things fall through the cracks. Sometimes, he's like giving Thompson excuses.
Yep, exactly. Hey, somebody says the East Idaho News. That's actually where I watched mine too.
That's what
On the
this
East.
is what this is. That's what this
Oh,
is.
this is it. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
because they had
This
the best audio so far.
yeah, this is Idaho news right here.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, okay. All
Yep.
right, so that's what we're watching, folks.
Yep. I'll make sure just one more time I'll shrink this down here, but I'm pretty sure that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
East
yeah,
Idaho news. Yep. Yep.
yeah. They had the best, by far, best audio out of all of them.
Right. Yep, that's
I
why I
don't
went
know why
here.
they let Court TV rule this roost, because Court TV is like first releasing everything to themselves. They play it on their own channel with like a million commercials
Right.
before they even
Yeah.
let it out, and that's not what the deal is, right? So I wonder if
Right.
they're gonna lose that one, or they should.
I hope they do. Um,
It's
East
some bullshit.
Idaho did a good job here, and they got 4 parts. I don't think I'm going to go through the whole 4 parts tonight, but I'll probably go through a
No.
couple anyway, and then maybe a couple tomorrow night or something. Rory should be here soon. He texted me here again here,
Oh,
so
cool, cool.
let me know when
Yeah.
he's in chat. Cause I'm trying to keep up with chat, but I'm sorry, I'm not really good at this yet. So please excuse me for that.
Oh, we're here
Love
to
you
help.
guys.
Oh, you're doing good,
Uh,
Tommy.
yeah, I am. I'm learning as we go along here.
Listen, I've never done this by myself, and I don't think I ever will. So you're doing better than me.
Yeah, it is kind of tricky, and I don't know how to set up a mod or make people mods yet, which I'm gonna have to
Oh,
learn sooner or later.
oh yeah, yeah, and I couldn't tell you. So there you
Right,
go.
your roar will be here soon. So, all right, I'm gonna let this play out here.
Okay.
are your just one moment, are your experts in the courtroom right now?
Yeah.
Do they need
Thank
to
you,
be in the
guys.
courtroom?
Your Honor, I ask that they be allowed to remain in the courtroom, seated where they are, so they're just kind of.
Any objection to that? I don't know who to point to here.
Or we'd also have the witnesses excluded.
I'm going to exclude your witnesses, so they're not hearing what the other witnesses are testifying by, and that'll be, I think, a cleaner, more accurate response. And I don't want to have them reacting to the other testimony. We'll hear each testimony, each witness's testimony, be independent.
where would the court like them to go? This is a media intensive environment, and I don't want them to walk by media, walk with
The law library.
me. I support them there.
Sure. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Mercer.
Did you hear that some of Koberger's family was up there, by the way? They were in the overflow room. What?
In the overflow room?
They were up there and they didn't want to.
Why would they be?
meet-
Why?
Well, they didn't want to be in front of the press and all that.
I suppose. You know what? I don't even blame them.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
then
that's good that they're there to support them.
and somebody in the Gonzalez family showed up in a I support what was it, the gun squad t-shirt. Can you believe that?
Oh God! Right?
To court. Can you believe that? I support the gun
Wow!
squad, or that's just
Right?
the fires. What is it called? How they want to kill him? The gun
The gun.
squad, is it?
Uh,
Firing squad? What
shoot,
is it called?
firing squad. Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody showed
Wow!
up in that t-shirt. I don't know if it's
Wow!
100, but there were rumors that they were in the overflow room. Poor family, I feel
Right.
bad for them.
So do I. Yep. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Okay, Ms. Mercer, hang on up. Please raise your right hand. Hey, yeah, please.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do. Thank you, Ms. Mercer. Go ahead, get some water there. I'll take care of that. And once you're seated, could you please state your name and spell your last. Yes, my name is Stephen with a PH Mercer, Mercer. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, Ms. Taylor.
Good morning, Mr. Mercer.
Good morning.
What city and state are you from?
Rockville, Maryland.
What do you do for work?
I am a licensed attorney in Maryland and the District of Columbia in the field of criminal defense with the area of specialization in DNA and forensic litigation.
How long have you been an attorney?
I was licensed in the state of Maryland in 1995 and in the District of
around.
Columbia in 1997. I'm also a member of several federal bars, including the Supreme Court, where I appeared as co-counsel in Maryland v. King, a DNA database case from 2013, as well as the Fourth Circuit, the DC Circuit, and a number of federal district courts.
I want to back up a little bit and have you tell me about
Those are
your
some pretty major
educational
courts there.
So I have a undergraduate degree, bachelor's degree in English from Syracuse University, 1984. Juris Doctor JD from the District of Columbia School of Law from 1994.
And you mentioned you have a specialty in DNA. Where does that come from?
So my experience with DNA began with the first constitutional challenge to Maryland's DNA database statute, and that started in 2002 in the case of State v. Raines, where it raised a Fourth Amendment challenge to the compelled collection of DNA from convicted offenders. Prevailed on that case in the trial court, as appealed to the Court of Appeals, which is now called the Maryland Supreme Court. The Maryland Supreme Court, in a sharply divided 4-3 decision, reversed, sent it back for trial, tried the case, and that was really the beginning of my experience with forensic DNA litigation. And then from that point, I continued in that field, attended training with the District of Columbia Public Defender Service, I began to collaborate with the Innocence Project and the Forensics Division at the Maryland Office of the Public Defender, doing indigent defense work and innocence work, and began to work closely with DNA scientists, who actually did the wet chemistry work, had numerous opportunities to tour law enforcement labs, including the NIST lab, as well as Montgomery County's lab, Bodie Technology, the FBI lab, as well. And so I continued working in the field, providing both direct representation in DNA cases as well as consultation through my private practice. And then in 2010, the public defender recruited me to head up the forensics division at Maryland's Office of the Public Defender, which is a statewide public defender system. And then there, I really dived much deeper into the field of DNA forensic litigation at that time. And if there's some questions, I can explain that further.
I may ask you some others about that in just a moment. Will you tell me about any publications, any articles?
Yes, so I published an article, co-authored an article in Maryland's DNA Databank back in the early 2000s following the State v. Raines decision. I also published an article with the NYU's Law Review about shadow DNA databanks with a co-author, Jessica Grable, and those are the principal articles with respect to forensic DNA.
And I think you mentioned a couple of professional organizations that you belong to. Are there others?
Yes, so I'm a member of the jurisprudential section of the American Academy of Forensic Scientists. And I've given presentations there. For example, in 2018, I gave a presentation on proposed regulation of the field of forensic genealogy. And then I'm also a member of the National Criminal Defense Attorneys Association and a number of local bar associations in Maryland, as well as the State Bar Association.
You mentioned forensic genetic genealogy. Can you tell me your background related to that?
So following really the advent of forensic genealogy in 2018, that is when I had the opportunity to litigate cases, criminal cases involving that technique, the testing and the investigation related to the testing, and to receive discovery of the testing and the interpretation of the test results that were obtained through searching of genetic databanks.
You are here on Simon Colbert's. How did you become involved in this?
Yeah, so the question was, what would a reasonable defense attorney do when confronted with DNA evidence that needs to be litigated? What are the minimum practice standards? So I'm not here to discuss Idaho's discovery rules or offer legal opinions about constitutional standards. Rather, my area of focus is based on my experience, training, and expertise in forensic DNA litigation, and what a minimum practice standard would be for a reasonably competent trial attorney who must comply with their duty to investigate a case on behalf of their client.
And is that because what you get when you get genetic genealogy?
Well, yes. I mean, forensic evidence is often central in a case, and DNA evidence in particular. And so when there's an item, for example, here of an environmental sample of trace DNA evidence that, as I understand it from reviewing the pleadings, was twice tested, first for an STR profile, and then later for a genomic profile. The question becomes, what is the minimum practice standard for an attorney to be effective in their representation of a client, given that.
So is this guy like just like backing up what what Taylor's job is? Is that
Yeah, I mean, he's a lawyer and he's been a lawyer for many, many years. So I think what she wants to prove here is like he has a lot of experience with DNA evidence and
right?
how it's presented and how it must be presented. I think that's what's gonna be. I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, he is who he is, and he's putting in his evidence there, but I don't know. I mean, it's a long, tedious one, if you ask
Is
me.
it okay? Well, we can jump ahead to how long does this guy go on here?
He goes
That
on
type
for
of
quite some time. I mean,
Does it? It might be this whole. Let me
yeah,
look here. Let me.
this
It
is
might
the
be this
whole
whole.
thing, but yeah, that's his main,
Okay,
the
so we
reason
can
he's
skip
there.
over. Okay, here. What's that go?
No. His main reason is to just because he does this for a living as well, and he's done it for how many years, he say, and since
Yeah,
90
it's
something, and
94 or 95,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right.
So the rules of evidence, he's not there to speak about the rules of evidence, discovery evidence in
Right.
Idaho, but he's there to tell you that, this to
That
be able
almost
to
sounds
come
like
in.
he's backing up what Ann's doing.
Well, yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
sounds like to me.
I mean,
Right.
every lawyer should be, because discovery is important
Well, of
in a
course. Yeah,
death
big.
penalty case, particularly. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay, I'm going to
But yeah, this whole thing is him.
jump in
It
Yes.
is.
here.
Genealogy that uniquely to test
Right.
the reliability of the STR profile. Did I hear that right?
Yes, so this is as an attorney and not a scientist, but as an attorney who has a duty to investigate. This now is an area where the attorney will look to retain a qualified expert who can evaluate and assess the linkages between the SNP profile or whole genomic profile and an STR profile. To be sure, an SNP profile or forensic genomic profile can't be searched in CODIS. It's not that type of situation. They can't be directly compared. But there are techniques that can evaluate if it is a whole genomic profile. You would look to a scientist who then would be targeting the areas of the whole genomic profile that comprise the STR profile to then evaluate the reliability of the STR profile, the potential for any mixture, the potential for artifacts in the STR profile. Or if it's an SNP profile.
Is that same guy talking?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? All right.
Oh, yeah.
We might go. I think we're gonna
Yeah.
jump. We're gonna jump to the second part.
Yeah, Vargas
Yeah.
is very interesting because
Okay.
she's the one, she's like self-taught, and
backwards
yeah,
here.
Population of related people are.
she's gonna lay it out like how they cheat.
Yeah, she's real interesting.
Yeah. See, they
Right.
don't even
Right.
have the
No,
last
do
part
you know if
yet.
that's part?
It's gonna be
I got
part 3
4
or maybe even
parts
part
here.
4. I might be part 4. One is like a short
Okay.
one. Hold on, let me
Let's
go
take a
look.
peek. Yeah, that's part 4. Oh, one's
I
really
think
short. That's part 2.
yeah. And
I
then
don't think
part
it's that one.
3,
So we could just jump ahead to part 3.
part 3 is that other woman. I can't remember her name now.
Okay, should we just
And
jump
then
to part 4, and that must be Vargas, right?
that's
Is that
Vargas,
Vargas
and
right
then
there? Yeah.
yeah. They haven't released
Okay.
Bica Barlow yet. That's gonna be interesting. And I
Right.
want to hear the ending because they're gonna argue all this, and that's what we're
Right.
missing here.
Right.
And
Why haven't they? What the hell?
court TV, they're like
Man.
hogging. And last time they didn't do it either. They just released like a morning session, and they never released the afternoon session. So
That's kind of bullshit, man.
mhm.
Right. Okay, let's watch this.
I'm going to ask you a question and come back to them. What kind of work do you currently do?
I am an investigative genetic genealogist and also a woodworker.
Woodworking sounds really interesting. I think we're going to focus on your investigative genealogy today. But before we talk about your work history, I want to know a little bit more about your educational background. After high school, did you have more formal education?
I did. I went on to the College of San Mateo and received a degree in certificate in criminal justice. And then I went on to San Jose State University and studied criminology and with a minor in sociology.
Did you graduate?
I did.
And was that with a bachelor's degree?
It was.
What year was that?
I want to say 2010 maybe. Or not. I don't remember.
It's been a few years since you graduated.
It's been 5 years.
Did you take any courses in forensic genetics?
At that time, this did not even exist. And the courses only have started to recently come out. There is no current standard of certification for the work of investigative genetic genealogy.
Does that mean more than your college education degree?
Absolutely. This is a technique that only come to light in the last 5 years.
You know, we're talking about the forensic investigative genetic genealogy.
Yes.
How did you get interested in it?
I really had no knowledge of it when I got involved. I had some health issues that I was going through and needed genetic testing. Unfortunately, my insurance wouldn't cover it, so I took direct-to-consumer DNA test and used the results to upload to a medical site. In the process of that, I found out that my father was not my father, and I then went on a mission to figure out how to identify who my biological father was.
Personally involved in investors are very much self-taught.
100% self-taught. And this was a time in my life where I was going through cancer treatment. I had a very short prognosis of lifespan left and became incredibly depressed. And so once I identified my biological father, I then wanted to give back. And so I started a free online Facebook group for people who had gotten the same results or were adopted or donor conceived, and I started finding their relatives for them.
That turned into you attending the trainings for genetic genealogy.
So at the time, I did not. So in 2018, in the spring, is when I started doing just genetic genealogy, which is the same concept essentially, but you're just doing it with adoptees, donor conceived and unknown parentage cases. I did a lot of online readings and reading scholarly articles, watching tutorials, just learning about the technique itself. I didn't have any involvement in investigative genetic genealogy until August 2019, when I was asked to join one of the companies that provides that service.
When you joined that company, did they train you in those methods?
No, they actually presume that you have to know what you're doing in order to be a part of the team. And so the presumption is made that you already have enough experience. I continued my own education and training by attending conferences, doing workshops, following other pioneers in the field that had successful case rates, and continued to just educate myself through what I could find on the internet. Because at that time, certification programs, accreditation, any sort of courses, they didn't exist. Those are very, very recent things that have come out.
You mentioned that there were groups of people that you learned from and worked with. Did you check your work or have them check your work as you learned?
Oh, absolutely. The first company, so I've worked for two well-known companies in this industry. And then I have created since my own company. One of the first company, you worked individually on cases, but it's a collaboration amongst the team. And so you keep each other up to date on what's going on. You ask for advice, guidance, help. The second company that I worked for was more of a team structured way of working cases. And that was at the point when I began actually training all incoming volunteers that wanted to get to learn how to work these cases.
That first company you worked for, what was that called?
Identifinders International.
How many years did you work for Identifinders?
Just over 2.5 years.
And that's where you did investigating genetic genealogy and other genetic work.
Yes, with Identifinders, I only did suspect cases, so only murder and rape, violent crime cases. They did not do DOE cases at the time that I was working with them.
So you're talking about those kind of cases that you did, those were for law enforcement, you were identifying somebody that was unknown.
Yes.
Okay, and you worked with check there while you did that for 2.5 years.
Yes.
The next place you worked, what was that?
The DNA DOE project.
What do you mean by that? You mentioned that.
DOE is an unidentified remains. The DNA DOE project specifically takes on adult DOE cases, not baby cases. So I work those cases on my own with my company, but it's identifying not suspects, only unidentified remains.
And you were not law enforcement there, you were not doing anything for law enforcement there, so it's a little bit different. Do I understand that?
So for both companies, we were working on behalf of law enforcement. We would contract these cases with law enforcement, but law enforcement was not in fact working the case. The genealogists were working the cases.
Okay. Or law enforcement to get it.
Yes.
All right, and so how long did you work at that?
I was with the DNA DOE project for about 2 years.
And is that where you did some human training about?
I think that's what mostly
Yes.
IDG is about, is a cold
From
case
there,
thing.
where you were.
But that's what she's been doing for the past
Well,
2 years, is what you say.
I
She's been
You're right.
working
my own
uh,
company.
like
um,
murders
but
and stuff like that
DNA DOE
before that.
offered me
All right,
the
but
opportunity to
let's stop this for a second. Isn't the IGG? It's mostly used for like cold cases or trying to find family, correct? Isn't that what it?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's how, I mean,
be an
it's
intake
reliable, but
specialist.
you
So
know,
my
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. It's not certified, right? I don't think
I mean,
there
not
is
in
no
it
certification process.
shouldn't hold up in a courts of law, if you ask me. But obviously,
Right.
if you can get that, because I think they require direct DNA, but I could be mistaken. But you know, in like
No, I
paternity
think you're right.
cases, because they don't, you know, you can't just come in there. Oh, I found my father. You are my real. You are the father. but I only
Right.
went through through that website. That doesn't hold
Right.
up in court. You have to have like swab tests and all that. So
Right. Yeah. It's and there. I know CC Moore when she was on that one video. She was saying there is no certification. There is
mhm,
no. It's not a certified uh, field.
mhm.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of wishy washy to begin with.
It's loosey goosey, exactly. I mean, you can find information. She's saying that, and
Right.
you can find good information, but you have to cheat your way. She's talking about cheat codes, and she gets really uncomfortable because obviously she's telling her trade secrets here, which probably doesn't bode well for her. I mean, she's
Right.
working in that field and she's giving out the cheat code,
Right.
so
Right.
she
Yeah.
feels very comfortable.
Right.
Primary role was when somebody was interested in doing this type of work and wanted to learn technique, we would bring them on board. And I was the one who would teach them the process. So all new volunteers were on a specific case that was run by me, and I would not only train them, but also check their work, make sure that they were documenting things properly and that the documents matched with the proper person that they had put in the tree. I also, the University of New Haven had also started a forensic investigative genetic genealogy course that you could take that had a practicum at the end of it. The DNA Doe Project was the first organization that took on a cohort of students. The first year of this course that was offered, it wasn't fine-tuned. So the students that I took on for the internship, there were 6 students in total. They really had very limited knowledge of the technique, of the meaning of anything really. And so I would spend hours training them, and at the end of 7 weeks, I led them to a solve of a case.
You were trusted with me.
Yes, I was.
Do you know roughly how many law enforcement forensic investigative genetic genealogy cases you worked?
I have worked just for law enforcement cases,
This is almost like a prelim.
probably around
Mhm.
25 to 30.
And the Doe Project, how many of those kinds of cases?
So that would include all cases.
The 25 includes the Doe cases.
Yeah, it's about 25 to 30. It would encompass any case that I have worked that is law enforcement case, not including the cases that were unknown parentage cases.
And of the other kinds of genetic genealogy, how many times have you worked with case in genetic genealogy other than that?
How many cases? Minimum 25. I still have people every day who, it depends. Some people just don't know what any of this means. And so it's as simple as just looking at their matches and explaining it to them, and they do it on their own. But actually working cases, probably another 25 to 30 that are just unknown parentage cases.
And have you classified what in court?
I have not.
Let's talk about what brings you here. How did you get involved in our police department?
I was contacted by the defense. Well, I take that back. I was contacted by somebody in this field. I don't know if I can say who it was or if it's relevant. Asking if I would be willing to talk to the defense. And I agreed, and I had that, it was a Zoom call in which I was asked basically just to explain the process in which I go through from start to finish on a case. So what is, from when law enforcement contacts me to when I provide the investigative lead back to law enforcement, what is the process? And that was the extent of my involvement at the time.
Ms. Vargas, what I want to do is I want to briefly run through what do you do when law enforcement calls you and you get, what's your first step?
So it's a complex, it's very complex. Essentially, law enforcement will contact me and say they have a case that they are unable to solve and they would like to, they like my services. I first evaluate what type of case is it, and are there any, what is the DNA that is involved? Do we have to extract the DNA? Have you already extracted the DNA? So there's a lot of preliminary questions. Once we establish that and they agree to take, have me take on the case, I have them set up to ship the sample, whether it be something that needs to be extracted to the lab that does that, or
There's the Roy.
DNA that's already been extracted that needs to be.
Well, hello, superstar.
Hello, Golf. How are you
What's
today?
going on, brother?
Oh, working
She
here,
always
working
does
there.
good.
Rory, did you eat your burrito?
Why do you look at the old burritos? I eat more than bread. God, I ate a burrito once, and now she thinks I only eat burritos. Yes, it was delicious.
I knew
I'm
it.
glad I'm not in the same room with you,
I
brother.
knew it was a burrito. See?
It was great. I love this woman's hair.
No, she looks like somebody mentioned
Right.
a cut pirate or a cut parrot. Yeah, she's a little bit of a pirate, isn't she?
She definitely needs a parrot on her
Right.
shoulder.
Oh, she does. Yep.
DNA is bullshit. DNA is bullshit. Square.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Bullshit,
no, I
bullshit.
like it because
Like-
she's so sweet and she's given everything to this case because she really is. She's putting herself out there. This is sort of
Yeah, she
insane if
is,
you think
yeah.
about it. Like
Yeah,
this
she
is
could
her bread
be-
and butter. And
Right.
I mean, who's gonna trust her after this one?
I don't know, you guys need to catch me up. So what's going on? I mean, so what has she said?
Well, let's start from the beginning. Rory, you missed. Did you see any of it at all, or no?
No, I literally have just I got home, I ate my delicious burrito, and then I'm here just now catching up. So yeah.
Yeah, we went through that whole first part, or pretty
Uh-huh.
much. We cut off that one dude, but
Yeah. Well, so basically, they come in and Ann Taylor starts talking about she's got, what is it, 3 or 4 witnesses she wants to present for the DNA material. And so of course the prosecution don't like that, but they had a meeting apparently last week and it was all laid out on the table minus this one Vargas woman who came in sort of last minute, but the judge was like, you know what, we need to allow this because I don't want to, have any mistrials in the end.
Right.
So he allowed it. But then she not only laid that out, she laid out the whole point of not having, what she was talking about was they still haven't received all the text messages, believe it or not,
that's just
from that night.
unreal.
Can you believe that? So they're holding
can.
that back. That's how they based the timeline on all this. And what else was there, Tommy? What was the other one?
I don't know, but the Thompson was trying to make it sound like they've given it all. There is no more text messages.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to make it sound like that.
And the 3 other unknown male DNA material, still haven't
Right.
gotten that. And so, and he's like standing there like, I don't know what they want. We gave them everything. He's very flustered in all this. And so
Right.
it's very obvious to me that they're trying to hide something. I mean, what else can you get from this? Like, and that's what their argument was we're fighting so hard for discovery. I mean, this should be very straightforward, and we still have to fight so hard. It seems like they're hiding something, and the judge sort of agreed. But I think that I might give away the end there, but that sort of comes in the end. So yeah, and
Right.
of course we're at a point where Court TV is ruling the whole proceeding, and they haven't released all of it yet. So we haven't seen the good juicy bits at the end where they actually argue everything else, like the alibi and what have you. But yeah, so that's the juice right now. So now we're going through a little bit. This lady is interesting because she is, one of those that's self-taught. She started doing this genealogical research by herself for her own purposes, and then just stumbled into like a business that nobody was doing. It was all new. It was up and coming. So she became sort of like the expert in the field, so to speak. And yeah, and she worked for law enforcement, and she's telling you like how she's going to come to it now shortly is how they do, like how they cheat to get what they need.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want to know.
So that's where we're at.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate
Okay.
that. All right.
I'll let it roll on.
Rip it.
Law enforcement agents will then send that to a third party forensic lab. At that point, when the lab receives the sample, I essentially take over the case until I provide the genetic lead back to, or the investigative lead back to the agency. In the meantime, I will stay in contact with usually the detective and provide updates on, did it pass quality check in the lab? It's being sequenced now. The data file has been complete. It's gone through bioinformatics. I've uploaded it, to GEDmatch. Do you want to upload to FTDNA, Family Tree DNA, because there's an additional charge for that? And so I keep them kind of abreast as to what's going on. But essentially, the case is mine. It's in my control until I am done.
And do you, during those communications with law enforcement, do you take their direction, and if they say stop working, you stop working?
Absolutely. The case belongs to them. It is not my case. It is not my data. I am providing service for them. The only request that I have is they not have another company work the case at the same time, because it's just a lot of work that you go through. But I am at their direction. Yeah, I don't.
So it's not as easy as just getting a profile and sticking it in your computer and having it.
Oh, absolutely not. I've had cases that have taken me 14 months to solve.
14
Why,
months.
you mentioned you use GEDmatch or Family Tree DNA, but there's an extra fee involved in that. Can you explain that a little more?
So there's many direct-to-consumer databases: Ancestry, 23andMe, MyHeritage, Family Tree DNA, all of which you can order from the company a DNA test, spit in the tube, and send it off back to the company. Ancestry and 23andMe allow you to download your data and upload free to these other sites as a normal consumer. Law enforcement cases, however, are only permitted to be uploaded into Family Tree DNA and to GEDmatch for a fee. GEDmatch, however, is not a direct-to-consumer testing site. It is only a database where people take their test results from the company in which they tested and upload this site to the site to get more matches, essentially, or higher, closer relatives, higher matches.
Does law enforcement have access to all of GEDmatch?
If properly uploaded, there's a fee that you must pay. You must upload through a separate database than the one in which consumers upload through. You must pay a fee, and you, depending on the case, may be limited on the matches that you are able to see.
Why is that?
The terms of service have changed several times since the Golden State Killer case came out, and which investigative genetic genealogy became very popular. It used to have everyone opted in, then GEDmatch opted everybody out, and you had to choose to opt in to law enforcement match as a consumer. Then it decided to automatically opt Doe cases in. So to break that down, if you were to take a DNA test in Ancestry and want to upload to GEDmatch, when you input that file, it's going to ask you, do you consent to law enforcement matching? And if you hit no, and I am working violent crime non-Doe case, I should not be able to see that you are a match to my unknown DNA contributor.
Should
You said should
is the
not.
key word.
Should not.
Does it happen
Yeah.
anyway?
It does. It has.
And is that because there's a problem with GEDmatch? It's just if you upload it and all of a sudden these things that shouldn't happen did?
There there are a lot of tools that are available in GEDmatch. These tools allow you to make comparisons of two or more people and how they relate to each other and share DNA. One of these tools allows you to compare many matches, not only against your DNA profile that you're working, but also against all of their matches to see if their matches match each other. When you utilize this tool, there is a feature that you can edit the list of kits that are originally selected.
What does that mean? Yes.
This poor
So
woman.
when you upload your profile, it takes about 24, 48, 72 hours max to batch and tokenize in the system. It then produces a list of matches, okay? And these matches are biological relatives to the unknown DNA contributor. We don't know right away what relationship they are, but they are all biological relatives. Okay? One of the tools is called the matrix tool. And what the matrix does is it compares the match, the DNA profile against a specified number of the profile's matches. So for example, if I run the profile's kit number, they're all given a kit number. If I run the profile's kit number and I compare it to 100 of the profile's top matches, it will in turn compare the profile to all of the matches and all of the matches to everyone on that list of 100 people. Okay?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Let me make sure. So you have one person, you get a list of their matches, but this tool also gives you a list of those matches.
So it's a multi-step process. So initially, if I am putting my subject's DNA in the system, I don't know who it belongs to, I put their kit number in. You get a kit number after you upload the data, okay? I put the kit number in, I run a tool called one-to-many, and it's gonna show the top 500 matches that this subject has. I then would go to utilize the manipulation tool, the loophole. You would then go click the top match and run their matches. So the top match of your subject's top match, you would run their matches, okay? Once you run their matches, there is a tool that allows you to edit that list of matches. So we're looking at the matches of the subject's top relative, not the subject's matches, right? When you edit the kit list, if you put the subject's kit number into this tool that you're going to now analyze, the matches,
I got to mute.
it tricks the system and allows you to see matches that you wouldn't have seen if you ran your initial match list.
Oh. She's giving it all away.
People that did not agree with law enforcement to see their DNA.
Those matches that are revealed are only matches that have been opted out.
So that is the only one that is supposed to be.
They're only the ones. If you see that the subject matches one of these people, because again, you're not looking at your subject's matches, you're looking at that person's top cousin, let's say, that top cousin's matches, right? When you put your subject's kit number in there, you're gonna see now his kit, her kit, compared against the matches of their top match. When you find, you then scroll down and you look, oh, here's the match for 100 centimorgans. You go back to your screen where you have your list of your subject matches and you say, I don't have a match with 100 centimorgans. That proves that that person has opted out of law enforcement matching, but I'm still able to see them.
Mm-hmm. Illegal.
So that's a way to use this tool to get past what law enforcement is supposed to do.
I struggle with this.
Oh, I believe it.
It is a tool that is provided in the database that essentially allows you to see things that you're not supposed to see. And as a result of seeing those things, you're then using that match to find who, to identify your subject. So you're violating the terms of service by seeing these matches.
This is in general.
This is in gen match.
How about family tree DNA? That's the other law enforcement strategy.
There's two things that I'm aware of in family tree DNA. One is not paying to upload. So there's very strict parameters when it comes to law enforcement kits. One of the parameters is if you as a consumer are a match to a law enforcement, you cannot see that kit as a regular consumer. So law enforcement kits can see everybody in the database that have opted in. Now, Family Tree also has an opt-in out feature that is not the same as GenMatch. you have to go into the settings and find it and toggle whether or not you choose to opt in or out. Many people are unaware of this. Another instance is uploading the data as if you were a consumer. You bypass the fees that you're supposed to pay to Family Tree DNA or a law enforcement kit, whereas a consumer it's free. And you also get full access to the database, including matches that have opted out.
That's important.
Yes.
Money leaves a trace, just so everybody knows.
And I want to know if they follow the protocols and rules. Do I need genetic genealogy information that like you produce as a forensic genetic genealogist? Do I need that information so I don't know?
If you wanted to know what the process was, whether or not there was work product, if you wanted to verify how did you come to your conclusion, absolutely.
How about if I wanted to know what the rules were?
You would need the data. You would need to see the data.
Pause that, Rory. Pause that, Tommy.
Right?
All right. So what she was saying, like she was talking about how you bypass getting access to a larger database, was that you sign up basically as the person, and then you go in and you trick the system. You don't have to pay, so there's no trace. If a cop goes in there and they pay, they're gonna pay with some kind of credit card that traces back to some district or the FBI or whatever. So when she's saying like you have to pay, what she's saying there without saying it is they're not leaving a trace after themselves, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and then she asked, does that happen? And she takes a moment and then she says, yeah, it does. It happens. They do it all. Basically, they do it all the time. To
Right.
get as big of a hit as possible. This is what they do. So I'm saying I feel bad for this lady because she really put herself on the line for this
Oh,
one.
yeah, no shit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
What do you
Yeah,
guys think?
right. Yeah, holy shit. Right, Boogie?
Rory, you got burrito brain?
You're
Must
funny.
have been
You're
a
funny for
dry
that.
burrito.
This is not my panel tonight, so I'm just chilling. But yes, no, I'm half in a food coma. But anyway, so I mean, again, I'm still trying to catch up. So what I want to know is like, what kind of a viable witness is this person? Is she going to stick around, or is she just telling
Right.
what she knows and then she's going to move on? I mean, like, are they basing the? I mean, that's where I kind of don't really know what's happening yet. So.
Well, what they're doing right now is they just want to prove to the judge that they need the evidence. This is why we need the evidence, judge.
Right, I understand.
Like, let us show you why this is important to us.
Okay.
And that's why she's there to prove them, prove the prosecution wrong, because they're like, oh, you don't need that. That's not science, blah, blah, blah. You have the data. You have the data. That's all they say. But, there's more than that. You need all this tracing as well, which that's what she's there for.
Okay.
Right.
And I
Well, that's
believe
very
they can,
interesting.
yeah, they can call her in as a witness during trial as well,
I would think so.
which would be good for them, because the jury needs to hear this as well. So that's probably what's going to end up happening. She doesn't work for the
Right.
defense. She's a witness. Well, I
Okay.
mean, that technically is working for them, I guess, but she's getting paid to do it.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure she is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay, cool. That's okay.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, actually.
hmm
That's a good question. Is the judge going to rule on anything today? Probably not.
No.
But I'm not sure. Yeah.
No, he said it already.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So
I,
it's just a hearing then. They just want to hear some
yeah,
shit.
he said he's not going to rule on that today. He's going to take it home and sleep on it, I guess, and then weigh all the options.
Right. Yeah, you'll be thinking about this one. He almost has to. He almost has to. He almost has to say give him the information. That's my opinion, but
Oh yeah,
Don't-
yeah.
Well,
If he
what's he gonna say?
doesn't,
Nah, you're good. You don't have to give him everything. It's the
Uh-uh.
fucking Constitution. You have
right,
to. You
Right.
have to. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
no, but
right,
no, not. But what what they were arguing is that they already gave them everything they had.
Well, obviously not, because this girl's sitting here
Yes.
saying you did not. So, and the defense
Exactly.
is saying the same
Right.
thing. So you did not. This is a lot. I don't want to call
Yep.
it a lie, but I would say a misrepresentation or something like that.
right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they might not have that, but the FBI does, who did the job, right? So they're not technically
They don't want to
lying.
share their information either.
Exactly. They're not really technically lying, but they're laying it out in good words, so to speak.
Right,
So
right.
Well, let's say that the FBI does have it. Do they have to call the FBI in as witness then to this and get the
Great question.
information? How's that work?
That's a great question.
well, I guess, I mean, if they called in the tip, but to be quite honest, this is probably going to be thrown out anyway. Is my just
The
that's my
case?
personal opinion. No, the genealogical
Oh,
finding.
right.
Yeah,
Which is
all
going
this.
to damage the
Yeah.
prosecution.
Well, I think we're halfway there already. Yeah, this is why this
They're
lady's
not-
coming in. Mhm.
They're not going to produce any evidence. They're not going to do it.
They would have
they
done it
don't-
already.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh
And then
yeah.
there goes the sheath, right? Can they even use
Well, that
the
sheath is
sheath?
gone, bro. That sheath is done.
Right,
That
right.
sheath is done, yeah.
So what do they got?
Great question. So again,
Things
I mean,
in a car.
You know, the car.
okay. So Tommy, did you send me that video yesterday where the white sedan is driving on the
Right.
street?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, what did you notice about that?
Tinted windows.
Exactly. So when Koberger gets pulled over at WSU for blocking the damn intersection, anybody want to take a guess what color his windows were?
Yep.
No, he doesn't
Clear.
have
Not
tinted windows.
tinted.
No,
Clear.
no.
No, and that car was going by
That was
the
the right
house
car.
the next day. It was going by
That was the
slow
right
the
fucking
next
car.
day.
Ridiculous, dude.
Right.
Like,
And it's a 2013. That car that was going by that I showed you yesterday on the film I sent you. And that's the same as the one that it's at the gas station. 2013, and they both
going
have
the wrong way. It's going the wrong way at the wrong time.
Right.
Right? It's not the right car. Oh, guess what? What kind of windows did those freaking car have? What kind of windows in that picture did that car have? Tinted windows.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It's not even the right car.
Well, it was the right car that the FBI pointed out. They had the car right
Good for
all
the
along.
FBI.
Right.
They
And
had
then
the
the
car
FBI
right.
is the one who said, "Hey, we got this guy named Koberger through IGG. Oh wait, but we don't want to tell you how we did it, and don't use
Mhm.
it." But no, it's him. What?
Yeah. Right.
And this is why the FBI do not want to be involved, because they're looking
Sarge
at
is
this
right,
as like,
dude. Keystone, smoke
Right.
cracking cops, dude. Like,
uh-huh.
just crazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
just stupid.
Mhm.
Just stupid.
And then here is
The
poor,
car.
poor
Right.
Thompson, and this is his last case, and he just about had a heart attack today. So
Yeah,
I
it looks he was really flustered earlier.
oh
Holy.
yeah.
So
He
I
was.
have to ask a question to you guys. So have you ever seen a DA? Right, he's the DA, right?
Uh-huh.
Thompson, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ever seen DA / Santa Claus ever go to a ever go to a crime scene? Fuck Santa Claus. Like, have you ever seen a DA actually go to a crime scene like 2 or 3 days after everything happened?
I think he was there. Was
He
it
was
that
there-
2 days after?
I don't know. I don't know what. That's what I'm at. It seemed like very recent after
Weird.
it happened, but I've never seen a
Yeah.
DA actually go to the crime scene that recent after it happened. So I was like, wow, what's he doing there? It just struck me
I
as like, why are you there?
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
I don't know about that. Like, I can't tell you if that's how they do it or not. That I don't
Right. It
know.
might be just a small town thing. I don't know, but I was
I
just like, wow, it's
mean,
really
I
weird.
think everybody in town walked through that place who had anything,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like everybody
No,
who's
you're probably
related
right.
to the
I just
cops,
thought
and
it was weird.
they just walked through that thing because everybody was curious, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
by then, of course, the bodies were gone. And I'm not saying they were there to do that, but
Okay, so now you bring up another question. Where's the body cam footage of the bodies? Doesn't even have to be body cam footage. There's no footage of the bodies being taken out of the house.
there is
I
nothing.
There's nothing. Why?
I
Weird.
mean, some theorize they took them out at night.
Okay, but you're still going to
And
film that.
yeah, I mean, I think there were media there all the time in the beginning, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, everybody could have left for the night and the media packs up, goes
Was
home.
that when they had all that like green baggie around it or something? Didn't they have like a great big tarp
It
around
doesn't
it?
matter. You still have to walk it out the front door. So why is no footage of the bodies being brought out the front door?
I
Well,
don't know.
At
It's
any
a good
time, doesn't matter if
question.
it's nighttime or
They did
morning.
have a truck backed up, and then they had this big tarp
Oh, so maybe they did
between
that.
Well,
Like
that
between
was
the
a month
door
later.
and the truck.
That was a month later. Come on, they
Was that
can't
a
leave
month
the
later?
bodies. Yeah, that was when they.
Who
That's
knows
when
if
they
they
went
did?
in and they were gonna clean up, and then Ann Taylor was like, "Hell no, you're not." She stopped that.
Oh,
That
okay.
was
That's
when
what
they were
that was.
doing.
All
Oh,
right.
we're gonna go in and clean up now because we have our guy. And then Ann Taylor was like, "Oh no, you're not." So she stopped it.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I never seen anything like this fucking case in my life, to be quite
No,
honest
either
with
have
you.
I.
There's
No,
nothing that sits well with me on this one. Nothing, not a thing.
no,
Except for one thing, what we watched yesterday, that dude, the police spokesperson, and that's the only thing that made sense that came out of their mouths so
oh,
far.
right. I know what you're talking about. Right.
That dude, he just said it, like
Right. Right.
that the house was the target, and we're
Yep.
very confident in what happened here.
Right.
So then I have to ask, what changed? What was the evidence that changed it? I know, yeah, possibly the crime scene looked like this, the injuries, but like that was like a couple weeks after everything happened. So something
Mhm.
2 or 3 weeks came up that changed their minds.
Probably the IgG.
Is that when the DNA popped up?
That must have been. That's what I'm thinking.
Because
And
yeah, for 2 or 3 weeks they were like, yeah, but still, I mean, why? Okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so take away.
they just wanted to get it done fast. I mean, they just wanted to get somebody
Right, that's really my
because
point. So
school
why?
was
So,
starting.
so
And,
let's say they got a sheet and they know they got some DNA on it. Okay, we got like 3 unknown male DNAs on that sheet. Let's just spitball this one as a theory,
okay.
and then we'll choose one of them. Let's see what we get, right? So they look into those 3 DNAs, and then who fits the profile best? Koberger. Poor kid, he doesn't have money to fight the case, they think, right?
All right.
He'll never get good defense. He'll be like, Bambi in the woods kind of person. He's, and people can paint him like whatever because he's got a murky background, right? With drugs and this and that. So
Right. Right.
I think they were pretty much looking for someone to fit the profile
Yeah.
that
Andrew, the
they
white
thought,
Andrew.
yeah.
Yeah. War Eagles does have a good point there. He
What?
said some neighbors said they made everyone leave their houses and shut down the street. So they might not have let
Hmm.
the media film them taking the bodies out. You know what I
How
mean?
can you do that though? So many people live
Shut
in that.
down the street. Shut down the street.
I mean,
Totally shut it down.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've
No.
so far, and I'm sure there is more. Remember, I sent that to you, Rory. There was only one picture I've seen that was on the street while the kids were sitting outside on blankets on the floor or something like
Right,
that,
right, right.
right after it happened. somebody took like that's probably somebody who lives there who took that picture. But like
I would
you
assume
don't
so.
see like those are the pictures we don't see. Where
Right.
are they? Where are those pictures?
Probably on the 51 terabytes. So,
No. I don't think so.
you don't think so?
No. I think those people were told like if you use that, that's the last thing you'll do. Like
That's
they've been told off not to use that.
by
And
who?
what pictures are you talking about, girl?
Like like right when it happened kind of pictures, the first hours when the police
Oh,
got there and all that. We
right.
don't seem like the first media outlet that went there was in sort of when it was dark outside. It
Yeah.
was getting dark, so nothing before then except one photograph of the kid sitting on the ground
Right.
outside.
And why isn't there more pictures from those kids that were there? I mean, the kids always have their cameras out,
All the time.
taking pictures. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
They,
especially since people knew about it so early on, everybody would sort of flock around the area kind of, and curiosity, right? And that's
there's
what people
pictures
do.
out there. There's
There
pictures out
is,
there.
I'm sure, but why haven't we seen them?
Right.
Where are
Somebody needs
they?
to call Enon right now.
He doesn't know shit, he says. He doesn't have
Yeah,
That's what
pictures.
he
He knows
said.
I don't know
nothing.
about that though. I don't know about
That's
He's
that.
what he said.
flighty,
Oh
flighty,
shit.
flighty.
Just
Yeah.
like he wasn't at the grub truck that night. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know if
You
I
know,
trust that guy, to tell you the truth.
I'm
Okay, how much more we got here? What happened? Did it go back to the beginning again, or what did it do?
That's what it looks like, brother.
oh shit.
Is this back at the
No, you
beginning?
were
What,
you were at the end almost. You were
where
at
were we?
the end, all the way to the end.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I don't
like
know if
around
there
here or
was
something.
much more after that. No, I think even
Okay, we'll
further.
go
But
from here. We'll see where we're at here.
You've got now a list of matches. It's the same as a regular consumer would do in both MyHeritage and Family Tree DNA.
I'll be right back.
GEDmatch law enforcement uploads now through a separate portal called GEDmatch Pro. But there are instances of people doing work on behalf of law enforcement uploading to GEDmatch through the consumer portal as if it were a consumer kit. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. I'm not sure if you talk to your husband.
Okay, thank you. This one must be excused. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Vargas. Appreciate you.
Your Honor, our last witness is Becca Barlow. She's probably in the small library.
That's pretty much the end. I would take it. Huh?
that is, yeah. Because Bicca Barlow's, we
Yeah,
haven't
that is.
seen that one.
All right.
I'm looking to see if anything new
What's that?
was released, but I'm looking to see if anything new was released, but I don't.
Oh, right. I should run that where I found that that picture I sent you of that car, because that car was the next day. You know what I mean? And it drove
Oh,
by slow
the one up there on the hill, kind of behind the house.
behind
Is
the
that the
house.
one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a white Elantra with tinted windows. 2013.
Mm.
I mean, driving by the next day, and don't they say they usually go back to the crime scene and all that? I don't know.
Well, as we established, it couldn't be Brian because it's not the same
Yeah,
windows, so it's not him.
right. I think it actually. I think it was them. I think it was whoever was involved.
Possibly.
Mm-hmm. Right, possibly.
Maybe they were there leaving. Maybe they were there in the morning and had a cleanup session, and then they're like, "All right, we're going home." I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Right. Right.
Something ain't right, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
It's all crazy.
Well, it's been interesting. That was an interesting day, but they haven't let out the ending, and
No,
when are they going to do that? Is it maybe they'll do it tomorrow? I hope.
I
Yeah,
don't
a couple
know.
hours or
That's
something. Yeah.
they didn't do it last time, so I have no hopes for it, to be
Right.
honest. And I don't know how they get away with it. Like they air it live, sort of, because they cut the ending off when I watched, and I don't know how they can get away with not showing all of it. But
Yeah,
maybe,
that's really bullshit.
yeah, they're supposed to share it, like it's a pool camera, and pool cameras are what they are. You can't hog it. You have to
Right.
pass it around to everybody.
Right.
I know Brian's face is kind of hard to read, but what do you guys think his face looks like right now? I think he looks a little pissed, in my opinion.
In that picture there, but most of the time he was really confident looking throughout the whole ordeal.
I wonder if he's like, who the hell is this? Because I'm sorry, I'm asking this question because, look, it's not that I don't think she's legitimate or anything like that, but like when you go to court or you're like dealing with something like this, your appearance and what you wear and all that stuff kind of matters. And I literally just was like, wow, I thought I saw this lady at the restaurant I just ate at yesterday.
That's true. I and look at how he's dressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
like this guy's not fucking around, dude. And then it's just like,
Right. And I'm wondering, she only had, what did she say? She's only done 25 cases. Is that what she said?
I'm not sure.
Law enforcement cases, I think, or that
Right.
she's involved with at one point. I don't know. It seemed, I mean, she's not doing that as a full-time gig anymore, is what I got from it, but she used to do it. Like when she worked for another company, she's got her own company now. So
Yeah.
that may be it. But back to Brian Koberger, he can't, like, if he smiles, then he's like an asshole. If he's not smiling, then he's a pompous ass. So he can't do right, honestly. It doesn't matter his facial expression. So he has to sit there stone cold because maybe then he won't be like an asshole. But somebody's gonna say, I mean, I was watching the chat for I was watching WFLA for a little while, and I was watching chat, and how influenced people are by how the media has portrayed Koberger. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal. I never seen anything like it. When Anne was speaking, people were like, "Oh, that biatch," and they were like going at her, and she's just doing her job. I'm like, "What are you guys doing?"
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And then, oh, look how he's sitting. Why is he wearing street clothes? He should be in, like, why haven't they shot him yet? Things like that, which is so scary. It's like, what are we in Nazi Germany when everybody was like persuaded to, do whatever? It's fucking crazy. It's scary.
Yeah, I watched this where I sent you that video. I got it off this. I don't know if you've ever heard it. I think it's called Thought Riot or something like that. Thoughts and Riot or Thought Riot or something. And it's this guy and his sister, and they're just starting out, and they admit they're really green in the case, and they're just learning this case, right? And they're going, we don't get it. We don't get it.
Yeah, right.
We've been doing this case now for like 2 weeks, and we don't get it. We don't get it. There's like nothing on this guy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I think that's the perfect answer right there. People, like I told you that story about my dad when I was like, when he was asking me, hey, so I heard you in the case, like, what's going on? I'm like, all right, well, listen to this. Somebody walked in, allegedly, did this in 8 minutes by himself, took out 4 people on 2 floors, no blood trail. He's like, how the hell did that happen? Like, he had no idea. He's like, how the hell did that happen? Yeah. I think that's the perfect answer. Like, we don't get it. Nobody gets it.
Yeah. Both the brother and sister is like, we don't get this. We don't get it. And they said they went over every point and they did, because I've been watching them for about as long as they've been out. and they've gone over every point that the prosecution has, the car, the sheath, everything,
Mhm.
and they're going, it's not there. We don't
It's
get it.
not.
We don't get it.
There's nothing there.
And then they're looking at the car and they're going, we don't get it.
Well, that's the problem. The time
Right.
change, the circumstance,
Yeah.
the everything around this case. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is up with Idaho? Like, really, honestly.
It's scary over there, man. It's
Yeah.
really scary. The research I've done, I've found some really freaky stuff over there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that place, man.
Yeah.
No, and people send their kids to school like thinking they're going to a good place, right? They're
Right.
selling that universities like, oh, look how good we are, and everybody's happy,
Yeah.
And so they go there and they're sort of put out there in this mess of a town that is, I mean, for lack of better words right now, I have to say it seems a little bit corrupt. I never really, because
Right.
I've been trying to hold off on painting those poor cops, as villains here, trying to be like, okay, it's a pressure from the university, but unfortunately you can't overlook certain things. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it.
no, no, and nobody does. And if you want to stay on the train of like Koberger did it, you have to come up with so many explanations as to how and why. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like everybody's
Yeah.
like this because of his this and that, and like a million explanations to why that could have happened.
Well, you know what they keep hanging on to? No, it's the DNA, and they have him phone pinged, and they have this car on camera. Well, what did the defense document say to that, people? There's no connection. There's no DNA.
No.
Have the right car. And no, they
Right.
don't have the right car because we've already figured that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have so much evidence.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
I just
where
hope
is
the
it?
jury sees it the way we do and sees it the way like
Well,
that brother and sister see
yeah.
it. And you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Tommy, how are they going to do that, dude? Okay, so that town, as you know, is a very small town. I don't see how he's going to get a fair trial in that county. I just don't see it. That county
That's
hates him,
a
dude.
ragged one. Right. I know.
That county has already made up their mind. I'll tell you that straight up right now. So he
Have they?
needs to go.
Is that what you're hearing over there?
Yeah, dude. Court TV. Or was there a lot? Yeah, no. Court TV just brought it up the other day, like 2 days ago. They said the same thing. They're like, look, they need to move this to like Boise or something because there's no way he's going to get a fair trial there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Hmm.
way.
They're bringing in 1,000 jurors, like they're selecting from 1,000 jurors. That's a
Wow.
lot.
That's
Mhm.
really a lot. Yeah, it is.
And
Okay.
the only people in that town that are not convinced is that church fellows group, the Christ
Much.
Church.
Exactly. That's my point. Is
Mhm.
other than a very minute group of people,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's guilty in that town. So it's gonna be tough.
Wow.
It's gonna
Wow.
be tough.
I don't think it's doable, but
I don't
if
think so
they're gonna
either.
do it, they're gonna do it.
Okay, so this trial is obviously not going to start because they still have to do jury selection if they're going to go through 1,000 people. That's going to
A
take
week before. A week before.
You're going to
They
go
s-
through 1,000 people in
Uh-huh.
a week?
Oh yeah, it goes pretty fast. Like they have like rudimentary questions that they put out, and
Wow.
then they go through them and they go through them and they go through them. It takes about a week. Like what's his name? Murdoch's. It took like 2 days or a day, or it was like boom and it was all gone. Like, but that's because again, small town, everybody knew Murdoch.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody was
Right.
related, or they knew who he
Right.
was or heard about the case.
Exactly.
So that was hard. That was a hard jury pool to pick from because obviously the smaller the town, everybody has preconceived notions already. That's the problem.
Mhm,
Well, I
mhm.
hope he gets a speedy trial in October, but I don't see it happening that way.
No.
I don't.
I do. I actually
Do
do.
you?
Yeah,
You
I
do?
do. I think Ann Taylor wants this done and over with because she knows they don't have enough evidence. Like she's got probably more um, to say the opposite in that
Right.
51 terabyte bullshit that they're throwing at them, and then everybody is like having a problem with her wearing a mask. Let me tell you, the reason she's doing that is because they're working probably around the flipping clock right now, and none of them can afford to get sick. And she's probably got
Right.
like a little flu going on or something. And she's
Huh.
like, they can't afford to get sick because they're ready.
Right.
They're gonna go.
I still
They're
wear a mask when I go
pretty
to the
gung ho.
store. I do. I don't want to I can't get sick. I got, like I said, I got a heart valve and
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
pacemaker and shit. I can't get sick.
Risk it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just people don't wear it just for COVID. You wear it for other things now,
I
and it's
haven't
more
been sick.
acceptable.
I haven't been sick since like 2017.
Whoa.
Nice,
Right.
dude. Yeah.
So knock on wood.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
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 So, but yeah. So I do when I play, I don't, when I get up and play and stuff, but I don't go
Mhm.
mingle around the crowd that much either anymore. I stay backstage in the green room, man.
Ooh. Drink
That's where all
all
the
the
good stuff
tea.
is, anyways. Yeah.
Drink all the tea, huh?
The green room's always fun.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna probably shut her down.
All right,
And
bud.
It was
and
fun.
yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and I thank you guys, Rory and Golf. Thanks for coming
Oh,
up.
no worries, man.
And you
Thanks.
guys out there, you guys are awesome sticking around. I know I don't
Oh,
have a
hell
whole
yeah.
lot of people in here, and you guys stuck it out. You guys are awesome. Thank you, War Eagle and Elbow, and all of you. You guys are great. All right, good night, all.
All
We'll
right.
see you
Good
guys
night.
later.
All right, Simon. Take
Yep.
care, man.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.